The 1-cent coin from South Africa dated 1968 is one of those fascinating pieces that attracts coin collectors and history lovers alike. At first glance it might seem like just a small copper coin of little value, but under the right conditions and in the right grade, it can be worth around $700 in today's collector market. This value does not apply to every example of the coin, but to those that are preserved in exceptional condition or show certain rare varieties and mint errors. When we look at this coin, we are looking at a piece of South African history from a time when the country was in a very different place politically and economically. Many coins from that era were heavily used in daily circulation, so the majority of them today are found in worn condition. That is why collectors are willing to pay significant amounts for those rare surviving pieces that remain in high grade with sharp detail and original surfaces. When handling this coin, the first thing to notice is the year 1968 stamped clearly on the obverse. Over the decades, most coins of this type have become dull and worn, but if you find one with full sharp detail on the lettering and the design, it may be something special. Original color and luster are highly prized, while signs of cleaning, polishing, or damage drastically reduce the value. In fact, even a coin that might have been worth hundreds could lose nearly all of its collector premium if it was cleaned in an attempt to make it shine. Collectors love originality, and the natural tones and subtle colors that develop over time are part of a coin's story. The reason some examples of the 1968 South Africa 1-cent reach prices around $700 is because they are rare in top grade. Most of these coins circulated heavily, so high-grade uncirculated examples are extremely hard to come by. Add in the fact that certain varieties or error coins exist, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or repunched dates, and the prices can rise significantly higher. Collectors also value provenance, meaning if a coin can be traced back to an old collection or has been sold in a well-known auction, it often carries extra weight and trust in the marketplace. To understand value, it is important to talk about grading. Grading is the process of determining a coin's condition, ranging from good, which means heavily worn, to mint state, which means it looks almost as it did the day it was struck. For a 1968 South Africa 1-cent to approach $700, it usually needs to be in a very high mint state grade, sometimes certified by a third-party grading company. These companies examine every detail under magnification and assign a grade on a numerical scale. A coin in mint state with bright original luster and minimal marks will always attract strong collector interest. Collectors must also keep an eye on varieties and errors. If you suspect you have a coin that looks unusual, perhaps with doubling in the numbers or letters, or with an unusual edge or shape, it could be a mint error. Such coins are often much rarer and can be far more valuable. In cases like this, professional authentication is very important, because errors are frequently misunderstood by beginners. Sending a coin like that for grading and certification not only protects it but also increases buyer confidence if you ever choose to sell. The market for these coins is also fascinating. On online marketplaces, ordinary worn examples of the 1968 1-cent might only bring in a few dollars, while coins in superb condition can jump dramatically in price at auction. There are even cases where bidding wars between collectors drive prices beyond estimates, especially for coins with desirable eye appeal, strong luster, or rare varieties. This is why anyone who thinks they have one should not rush to sell it cheaply but instead take time to research recent realized prices from reputable auction houses. If you believe you own a high-value example, the best approach is to handle it carefully. Always pick it up by the edges and avoid touching the surfaces with your fingers. Oils and dirt from your skin can damage the coin over time. Do not clean it, even if it looks dirty, because cleaning leaves scratches that can ruin its value. Instead, place it in a protective holder or capsule, and if you are serious about learning more, consider showing it to a coin dealer or sending it to a grading service. For collectors who are looking to buy one, the checklist is straightforward. Ask for clear photographs, ask whether the coin has been cleaned, check the weight and diameter if possible, and find out if it has any certification. For sellers, be honest about the condition, describe any flaws, and use good photography. Coins that are photographed in high resolution with good lighting always attract more attention and higher bids. If you are dealing with a coin that might be worth hundreds, it is often wise to invest in professional grading before listing it for sale, as buyers are far more confident when they see a coin in a slab with an official grade. Storage is another important part of maintaining value. High-value coins should be kept in acid-free, inert holders, away from heat, humidity, and materials like PVC that can damage surfaces. For truly valuable examples, keeping them in a safe or safety deposit box is a smart move, and insurance can be considered if the value is high enough. These small steps help protect your investment and ensure that your coin retains its full market potential. Finally, there is the emotional connection. Holding a 1968 1 cent from South Africa is not just about money, it is about history. Imagine who might have used that coin, how it traveled through time, and how it managed to survive in excellent condition when most others were worn out. Collecting coins is about those connections to the past, as much as it is about rarity and price. If you happen to discover one in your family's old belongings, it is worth checking carefully before dismissing it as just a cent. So the 1968 South Africa 1 cent coin can range from being worth just a small amount in average condition to about $700 in exceptional grades with rare varieties or errors. It represents a blend of history, scarcity, and collector passion. If you think you own one, handle it carefully, do your research, and you may find yourself holding a surprisingly valuable piece of South African numismatic history. Next coin. In 1985, South Africa was at a crossroads both politically and economically, and even the nation's coinage reflected those times. One of the coins issued that year was the 50-cent coin, a piece that holds not only monetary value but also historical and collectible importance today. This coin has become an interesting subject for collectors around the world, and in this video, we will take a closer look at its history, design, metal composition, and current market value. The South African 50-cent coin of 1985 was part of the second decimal coin series, introduced after the country had moved from the old pound, shilling, and pence system in 1961 to the rand system. By the 1980s, South African coinage carried designs that reflected the nation's culture, heritage, and natural environment. The 50-cent denomination was important in circulation at that time, serving as a medium-value coin used for everyday purchases, transport fares, and goods. The obverse of the 1985 50-cent coin features the South African coat of arms. This emblem stood as a representation of the Republic of South Africa during the apartheid era. It includes the shield with 4 quadrants showing symbols such as a lion, flowers, a figure of hope, and oxen, all of which were meant to symbolize the country's history, resources, and aspirations. Above the shield, a crest with a lion holding 4 rods represents unity among the provinces, while the motto beneath reads, Ex unitate vires, meaning, from unity, strength. Surrounding the design is the inscription, South Africa, written in both English and Afrikaans, which were the 2 official languages at the time. On the reverse of the coin, you will find the elegant design of the famous protea flower, South Africa's national flower. The protea symbolizes beauty, resilience, and uniqueness, making it a fitting choice for the nation's currency. The denomination, 50C, is placed alongside the flower, with fine details that make the design stand out even decades later. In terms of specifications, the 1985 50-cent coin was struck in nickel. It has a diameter of 27 mm and a weight of about 5.66 grams. The edge of the coin is reeded, giving it a distinct texture that is recognizable by touch. At that time, the South African Mint produced these coins in large numbers for circulation, so many examples exist today. However, collectors pay attention to the condition of the coin, since well-preserved pieces are much harder to find. Now let us talk about the value. A circulated 1985 South Africa 50-cent coin is generally worth only its face value in South Africa, which is half a rand, but among collectors, the price can vary. In average circulated condition, this coin usually sells for around $1 to $2 internationally. If the coin is in better condition, such as extremely fine or almost uncirculated, the value can rise to $3 to $5. For coins that are fully uncirculated or graded by a professional service, the value may go even higher, sometimes reaching $10 to $15, depending on demand at auction. It is also worth noting that proof versions of the coin were struck in limited quantities for collectors. Proof coins are made using a special process that results in a highly polished background and sharp, frosted details on the design. These proof issues from 1985 are far more valuable than the regular circulation strikes. A proof coin in pristine condition could be valued between $20 and $50 or more, especially if it comes in its original case from the South African Mint. Collectors are also interested in errors or varieties. While no major widely recognized errors are associated with the 1985 50-cent coin, occasional minting flaws such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or double dies can add significant premiums if discovered. Such coins are always examined carefully by numismatists. The historical context of 1985 adds an extra layer of interest to this coin. This was a period when South Africa faced international sanctions and economic pressures due to its apartheid policies. As a result, the currency and coinage from this time reflect a country under both internal and external strain. For many collectors, holding a coin like this is not only about the metal but also about owning a piece of history that tells the story of South Africa during a very turbulent era. To sum up, the 1985 South Africa 50 cents coin is a fascinating collectible. With its national symbols like the protea flower and the coat of arms, its nickel composition, and its place in the country's second decimal coin series, it offers both aesthetic and historical value. While its monetary worth in circulated condition is modest, pristine uncirculated coins or proof issues can be quite attractive to collectors. More than its price, however, the true value of this coin lies in its story, capturing a chapter in South African history that continues to intrigue numismatists today.